number of virtual backgrounds, but for any of you who have not used Zoom a lot before, you may or may not know that Zoom backgrounds are finicky, especially if you have technology that's more than a year old. So you're going to see some people who have them, some people who don't. We're following technology, but we do feel that having the backgrounds do help tell a full story. If you're a little bit lost about where the scene is taking place, we will always have a screen up that says location, and that will give you the dominant background of wherever we are. Finally, just a quick word or two about the play. This play is called The Devil's Charter. It is by the wonderfully named Barnabe Barnes, and dates roughly to the same time period as Macbeth, and by the same company. It's known for having very full stage directions. It's how we know a lot of how Shakespeare's staging may have worked in that time period. But for me, and more importantly, what makes this show a delight is that it's basically the horror B movie of the early modern era, and it is a quite ridiculous little play. So I think that is all that I have to say. We will be running roughly an hour 45. And so, and I guess I should also say in terms of like best Zoom practices, if you are not an actor and we end up hearing you or seeing you, please do not be surprised if we mute or turn off your camera, just for everybody's best enjoyment. With all that said, I believe we are ready to start the play. So I'm going to go away for just a second as Marshall, and I will be back in just a second more as your chorus. Thank you all for joining us. Gracious spectators, do not here expect visions of pleasure, amorous discourse. Our subject is of blood and tragedy, murder, foul incest, and hypocrisy. I am sent by the powerful and commanding muse, sent down to let you see the tragedy of Rodrigo Borgia, lately Pope called 6th Alexander, with his son, proud Caesar, to present unto your eyes their faithless, fearless, and ambitious lives. And first by what ungodly means and art he did attain the triple diadem, this vision offered to your eyes declares. Thus first with golden bribes he did corrupt the purple conclave. Then by devilish art Satan to him makes offer of the triple crown. For certain years agreed betwixt them two, the life of action shall express the rest.
Renowned Lodowick, our warlike cousin, auspiciously encountered on the skirts of Piedmont, we greet you joyfully.
Thrice and forever most renowned, Charles, on the behalf of forlorn Italy, needing and craving your princely hands, patronage and true protection of such a potent and victorious king, humbly salutes your royal majesty. Do not then, most Christian Charles, do not forsake her, holding up her hands, or succumb to your royal clemency. March then, most Christian and renowned prince, in God's name, with good auspices of Saint Denis and Lodwick, which brought you on with honor, will bring you off with triumph and renown.
Embrace me, cousin Forza. By the souls of my forefathers, I rejoice as much in thy dear friendship and wise industry as in the more part of my patrimony. Come, cousin, march we cheerfully together. Fair is the way, fair fortune and fair weather. Whither in such haste, my noble lord, thus early?
Signor Barbarossa, in happy time well encountered, for I have some business this morning with my brother, the Duke of Candy, wherein I would both use your counsel and countenance.
My good Lord Vicelli, the countenance of your devoted poor friend is of less value than his counsel, yet both of very small validity. Such as they be as they be, with his life and best fortunes he sincerely sacrificeth all to your service.
Pardon me, dear sir, no service more than reciprocal, and in due parity betwixt us. And since we be so near it, let us not pass Pasquill without an Ave. What scandalous hieroglyphics have we here? Against my lord the Pope's holiness such blasphemous impudence? Such intolerable bitterness? Fie, Diablo! Our blessed Alexander, being St. Peter's successor, this devilish libeler calls Antichrist.
Pause there, my lord, a little. Somewhat here concerns my lord, the Cardinal Borgia.
Read it, good Barbarossa.
Alexander adopted his son Caesar into the fellowship of cardinals, that he with the monstrous poison of his breath might choke the whole conclave.
By the blessed altar of St. Peter, this villainy suppresseth patience.
My lord, here is a long libel.
Read it, good Barbarossa. More mischief of my wife. Nay, read it.
Welcome, good post from Rome. Tell us some news. Lucretia is turned face of the stews, in whom her father Alexander saw his only daughter, wife, and daughter-in-law. Shall I read on, my lord? Here is much more.
Nay, read out all. It is but of a whore.
Gismond Vicelli, nobly descended, is for his shameful match much discommended. For never was the shameless Fulvia, nor lace noted with so many wooers, nor the unchaste profuse Sempronia, a common dealer of so many doers, so proud, so faithless, and so void of shame, as his new bordel bride Lucretia. Take to thee, Gismond, both the scorn and shame, and live long jealous of Lucretia. With pushing horns keep all comers in, for now thy mortal miseries begin.
Mortal miseries? But we are all mortal. Fortune, I scorn thy malice and thy meed. Keep them up safe, that I may show them to his holiness. Is this the license which our city Rome hath given to beastly bards and satirists, ribaldly rhymesters, and malicious curs, to leave no state of church nor secular free from their odor and pollution? Good Barbarossa, bear me company. If these were truth, this time's impiety may soon sink down under the deity.
With what expense of money, plate, and jewels this mitre is acquired, my coffers witness. But Astoreth, my covenant with thee, made for this soul more precious than all treasure, afflicts my conscience. Oh, but Alexander, thy conscience is no conscience. If a conscience, it is a leprous and polluted conscience. But what, a coward for thy conscience? Devil is with me when I sealed it and cauterized his conscience, now seared up to banish out faith, hope, and charity, that all my misty machinations were for the glorious sunshine of my sons. That was it, that which I so much desired, to see my sons through all the world admired. In spite of grace, conscience, and Acheron, I will rejoice and triumph in my charter. Sedelus Romine popa summa in felicitate tui et in filorum anno undecimo et septimo dies octivo post morire. Proviso quod nunquam te signius tremendae crucis signo. The devil provideth in his covenant I should not cross myself at any time. It never was so ceremonious. Bernardo, call hither my two sons, the Duke of Candy and the Cardinal of Valence. Happy those sons whom fathers love so well, that for their sakes they dare adventure hell. Come, come, dear sons, the comfort of my life, yours is this earthly glory which I hold. Cannot the spacious bounds of Italy, divided equally, contain you both? Love one another, boys, you shall be kings.
Most blessed, reverend, and renowned father, the love by nature to my brother Candy enforceth me sometimes in plainer sort to clear my conscience, issuing from pure love. It is mere love which moves these passions when I do counsel or advise your good.
I know, dear brother, when your counsel tends unto my good, it issueth from pure love.
As when I tax your princely conscience like an unpitied penitentiary, brother, with reverence of his holiness, your heart is too much spiced with honesty.
Aye, and I fear me he will find it so. Your brother Caesar tells you very true. You must not be so ceremonious of oaths and honesty. Princes of this world are not pricked in the books of conscience.
And for your more instructions, learn these rules. If any cedar in your forest spread, and overpeer your branches with his top, provide an axe to cut him at the root. What though the multitude applaud his fame, suffer your court to mourn his funerals, but burn a bonfire for him in your chamber.
'Tis well said, Caesar. Believe me, Candy, things are as they seem, not what they be themselves. All is opinion, and all this world is but opinion. Caesar can tell thee this in ample sort, and Caesar, love him heartily. Though mildness do possess thy brother Candy, it is a gentle vice, vicening virtue.
Under correction of your holiness, those wars which virtue levies against vice are only known to some particulars which have them written in their consciences. Those are the same they seem, and in such wars your sons shall make remonstrance of his valor, and so become true champion of the church.
It is the precious ornament of princes to be strong-hearted, proud, and valiant, but well-tempered with callidity. Brother, with reverence of his holiness, whose sacred words, like blessed oracles, have pointed at your prudence, Caesar would have given the like advice. But, in conclusion, undoubtedly to work out thy confusion.
Upon my blessing follow Caesar's counsel. It tendeth to thy glory.
Most blessed lord, ambassadors from Ferdinand of Naples arrived here. Attend your holiness.
This is a welcome messenger for Godfrey to make a marriage with the Lady Saunce. And Candy, for so much as this requires a joyful entertainment, take that honor and bid him welcome with due compliments. Now show thyself a politician, and need not give thee large instructions, for that I know thee wise and honorable.
Your holiness in this shall see my skill to do you service.
Caesar, now to thee. This task upon thy shoulders only leans. I rest upon thee, Caesar. Were it not that thou must second it, or first it, rather, I durst not trust such things of consequence to feeble spirits. Therefore, from our stables, 6 Persian coursers armed and furnished with 6 rich, complete armors for their saddles, and such a cabinet of precious jewels as we shall choose within tomorrow morning, present from us in token of our love. Let for no cost in sumptuous banqueting. Believe me, Caesar, sometimes at a banquet more ground is got than an ability battle. Worm out their humors, fathom their delights, present them with the paragons of Rome, and spare not for 1,000,000 in expense, so long as they keep here their residence.
Caesar, in such a case, will prove true Caesar, wise, frank, and honorable.
I doubt it not. And Caesar, as thou dost embrace my love more than the world besides, accomplish this, and we shall Caesar with high blessings bliss.
By this time is my fair Lucretia befitted for a benefit business of blood, merely concerning her estate and mine.
Lucretia, cast off all servile fear. Revenge thyself upon thy jealous husband, that hath betrayed thine honor, wronged thy bed. Fear not. With resolution act his death. Let none of Borgia's race and policies exceed thee, Lucrece. Now prove Caesar's sister, so deep in bloody stratagems as he. All sins have found examples in all times. If womanly thou melt, then call to mind impatient Medea's wrathful fury, and Aeneas's 50 daughters, all but one, that in one night their husbands sleeping slew. My cause as just as theirs, my heart as resolute, my hands as ready. Gismund, I come, hailed on with fury to revenge these wrongs, and love am poisoned with thy jealousy. I have devised such a curious snare as jealous Vulcan never yet devised, to grasp his arms, unable to resist death's instruments enclosed in these hands. Here comes the subject of my tragedy.
What, my Lucretia? Walking alone? These solitary passions should betray some discontentment, and those gracious eyes seem to be moved with anger, not with love. Tell me, Lucretia, may thy Gismund know?
Demandest thou the cause, injurious Gismund, when like a recluse shut up from the world I live close prisoner to thy jealousy? Thou wouldst debar me from the common air, but that against my will I suck it in and breathe it out in scalding sighs again.
Blamest thou my jealousy? Nay, blame thy beauty and love imprisoned in those amorous looks. I fear the sun's reflection on thy face, lest he, more wondering at thy precious eyes than any nymphs which he most honored, should bear thee to some other paradise, and rob me, silly man, of this world's joy. I fear the winds, lest amorous Jove in them, envying such precious nature amongst men, with extreme passion hence should hurry thee. Oh, love is full of fear. All things I fear by which I might be frustrate of thy love.
Scoff'st thou me, Gismund, with continual taunts? O God of heaven, shall I suffer both shame and scorn with such despised captivity?
Here, in the presence of the powers in heaven, I do not speak in scorn, but in mere love. Forgive me what is past, and I will swear never to vex thee with more jealousy.
Thou wilt so swear thyself. Gismund, come hither. Sit down and answer me this question. When I bestowed on thee this diamond, a jewel once held precious as my life, and with it cast away myself on thee, hast thou not promised to maintain mine honor, neither in word nor deed to give suspect of thy dislike? And hast thou not, since then, in presence of my nearest noble friends, rebuked me like a laze for my lightness, and as a miser locked his money up, so me restrained from speech and sight of them?
When first thou didst bestow this diamond, it had a precious luster in mine eye, and was possessed of virtue when I vowed to maintain that which was impossible. But since that time this stone hath had a flaw, broken within the ring, his foil grown dim, the virtue vanished, and the luster lost.
I can no longer brook these base rebukes, these taunting riddles and close libelings.
Oh, help! I am strangled!
Peace, wretched villain, and receive this quickly, or by the living powers of heaven I'll kill thee. Take pen and ink. This is not to make thy will, for if thou wilt subscribe, I will not kill. 'Tis but to clear those scandals of my shame, with which thy jealousy did me defame. So now that part is played, what follows now? Thou ribald, cuckold, rascal, libeler, pernicious lecher void of all performance, perjurious coxcomb, fool. Now for those wrongs which no great spirit could well tolerate, come I with mortal vengeance on thy soul. Take this for slandering of his holiness, my blessed father, and my brother Caesar with incest. This take for my brother Candy, and since the time is short, I will be short. For locking up of me, calling me whore, setting espials tending at my tail, take this, and this, and this, to make amends, and put thee from thy pains. Now, will my father Alexander say that I did take the best and safest way? And Caesar will approve it with his heart, that Lucretia hath performed a cunning part. If others ask who Gismund killed or why, it was himself, repenting jealousy.
Hello within there. Why, fellows,
Here, my lord.
what is my Lord Vicelli stirring yet? My lord the Pope expects him, and the ambassadors of Naples crave his company.
My lord, I have not seen him yet this morning.
Is not your lady Lucretia stirring yet?
No, my good lord, I think she be not yet come from her chamber. Her custom is not to be seen so soon.
'Tis well, 'tis well. Let her take ease in God's name, but make haste, call up my lord thy master, honest lady.
With patience of your lordship, I will speak. For 3 days' space I did find in my lord passionate motions and strange melancholy. 'Tmay be his solitude hath drawn him forth. I will first look the garden and the galleries.
Do, my good friend. I will expect thee in this parlor here. Lady, come back, lady. Come back. Your lord lies murdered here. Call up your lady. His dagger grasped in his fatal hand reveals some violence wrought on himself. Was it not wrought by bloody Borgia's race? I doubt in this the devil's hypocrisy. Justice of heavens, firm and inscrutable, reveal it. Oh, reveal it in thy mercy.
Where is my lord, my dear lord?
Tarry, lady. Approach not near this ruthful spectacle. Approach not near this spectacle of blood, this ruthful spectacle of blood and death, lest sudden horror of these bleeding wounds whelm thy distracted spirits to pale death.
Oh, my dear lord, Vicelli, speak to me. Oh, most disastrous accident and hour, ay me, most wretched and unfortunate. My dearest lord, the treasure of my life is murdered. Seek out the murderers. Leave not unsearched a corner nor a cranny. Lock up the doors there, lest that homicide escape us in this passion.
Have patience, lady. Heavens will reveal the murderer, doubt it not.
Ah, noble Barbarossa, much I fear. Now with these eyes I see the murderer, stained with the guilt of nature. Oh, my lord, you little know, these weak woman's hands, twice rescued, have the violence of his from killing of himself before this time. A fie upon the devil and melancholy, which leave me desolate, a forlorn widow.
Madam, these papers will bewray some matter.
Oh, I find another murderer.
These do contain some matter. Read them, lady.
My heart, swollen up with sorrow, lends no light unto mine eyes, nor force unto my tongue to see one letter or to read one word.
I, Gismondi Vicelli, through desperate grief conceived in jealousy, which I bear against my lady Lucretia, having found out by much trial and examination her faithfulness and innocence, make this my protestation as the last peculiar oblation to hear from these wrongs, that with mine own unfortunate hands I have ended my life, desiring her and all others to forgive me and pray for me. Subscribed with mine own hand and sealed with my seal, Gismondi Vicelli, Vevo de mora mater secure.
Oh, Lord of heavens, have pardon on his soul.
This is his hand and seal. Speak now, my lord. Did not I soon disclose the murderer? Told I not the murderer was present? Ah, never never shall I live to see.
Comfort yourself, dear lady. God will send succor. Your husband hath paid dearly for these wrongs.
Give me my lord again. Death shall not have him. Come, my dear Gismund, come again, my joy. Delay me not, lest I prevent thy love. I cannot brook delays, Lucretia shall follow.
Tempt not God's justice, lady. Fall to prayer. Help in there. Take your lord out of her sight.
My dear friends, see my miseries. You beseech, in dearest tenderness, bring the body of my dearest lord, that I, before my death, may, with these eyes, behold him honored in his obsequies.
And I will bear these papers to his holiness, whose sorrows will exceed for Gismund's death.
Thus foul suspicion, fear and jealousy of shame, dishonor, and his wife's hot lust hath seized upon Vicelli, whose revenge was to restrain Lucretia from company. But swelling pride and lust, both limitless, answered his loving fear and shame with death. Attend the sequel. Now, successively, after such warlike preparations, so many firm hopes found in Italy, King Charles, with 1,500 men at arms, 3,000 archers, with 6,000 Swiss, treads a long march after his drums and fife. With Merlyn's force, and now his trumpets hard, unto the gates of Rome give fresh alarms, unto the Pope, who stirreth up in arms.
Come, we will touch him. Summon forth a parley.
Most Christian Charles, here I salute your grace, bidding you peaceably welcome to Rome, if you bring peace along with you to Rome.
In filial love, I thank your holiness. We little thought it, our most holy father, that our allegiance to the Church of Rome should have enforced you to take sanctuary.
Son Charles, know then, we took not to this place in fear as to some refuge or assail. The conclave thought it fitting, tendering the safety of holy church and sacred privilege, to know your meaning first, and then with pomp, to make your welcome in St. Peter's Palace in the best fashion with due ceremonies.
Know then, most holy father, what we would. Having in tedious march from France thus far, passed with our forces, God still guiding us, yet having noticed that your holiness, both with Alfonso, that usurps my crown, and his son Ferdinand, drew deeply in upon considerations of more weight, we thought it good to take Rome in our way.
So may you seize upon the church's rights, if that we should refer all to your trust.
This is St. Peter's bulwark. For my part, here I will die ere I surrender it.
Now find I true which common brute proclaimeth of your bad meanings and hypocrisy.
Renown it, Charles. Suppose we should surrender. How may we be secured that you will restore it after your impress at Naples?
The faith and honor of a Christian king.
Your faith and honor? Stay, most Christian Charles. Men will not yield up castles upon words unless their states and lives grow desperate.
Why make we longer parley with this Pope, whose falsehood is so much that neither oath nor honesty can purchase place with him?
Never yet in cause of consequence have kept his promise.
Tell us, will ye grant?
What should we grant, most Christian King of France?
If you will yield up Castle Angelo, resolve us presently without delays.
Because it is St. Peter's citadel, the conclave is in doubt to make surrender.
We will not yield then.
We cannot, nor we will not, yield it up.
Why then, a parley with our ordinance?
What? Come you to make pillage of the church, which held you dear as her chief champion? Forbear your violence in the name of God, fearing the scourge and thunder from above. Our offers are both just and reasonable.
Pieces which are of more validity we mean to tender to your majesty.
What are those pieces you would tender us?
to render presently the citadels of Terracina, Civita Vecchia, and Spoleto.
And we received them thankfully.
And if you, meaning with your words accord, we dare engage our souls for we surrender.
Your souls, for they stink in sight of God and man.
Thou most profane and impious Moabite, so full of vice and abominable, no pope, but Lucifer in Peter's chair. For now, Charles, pull down this Antichrist, advance some worthy father in his place.
A pope by nature full of fraud and pride, ambitious, avaricious, shameless, devilish, one that with mortal malice hates the French, by whom this reconciliation made was more in fear and hard necessity than faithful inclination or goodwill.
Iscariot, reprobate, apostate, I charge thee to desist and make submission with penance to the Mother Church of Rome on pain of everlasting reprobation.
Blasphemous exorcist, here are no devils which thou canst conjure with thy devilish spirit. We charge thee, render up that triple crown which most ungodly man thou dost usurp.
That sword with which thou shouldst strike Antichrist, thou like proud Antichrist converted haste upon the members of Christ's chosen flock. St. Paul demands his sword, Peter his keys.
Bear your blasphemies. What, know ye not, Christ's vicar general chosen on earth, have I not power to bind and loose men's sins and souls on earth, in hell and purgatory? Come, take St. Peter's chair, proud heretics. Here, take this triple crown. Oh, you would take it. But he that made it did not make it for you. Lodovic, would you have these golden keys? Here, take them. With my vengeance on thy head. Son Charles, since we capitulate with you, methinks you should not suffer these to front us.
Forbear your idle valetations, angering, rubbing up the festering scars of wrath inveterate and mortal quarrels. We come not here to foster factions. All are in one accorded, all are friends.
He that knows all knows this. I cannot falter with any brother. All are faithful friends. Be but submissive, mild, and penitent, and all is past as all had been well meant.
I thank your holiness.
Son Charles, your welcome is as acceptable as ever was King's presence into Rome. Tomorrow we will, with the power of heaven, together celebrate a solemn mass. After the senior bishop, Cardinal, you must take place, and as our custom is, I'll give us water when we celebrate. This done, we will bestow some time in pleasures.
Here leave we Charles with pompous ceremonies, feasting within the Vatican at Rome. This done, he marcheth back again for France, and Ferdinand doth repossess his state. Meanwhile, King Charles, sick of an apoplexy, dies at Amboise, and the Duke of Orleans, Louis XII, conjointly knitting force, doth march in arms with Ferdinand of Spain. These regain Naples and divide that realm, but this breeds mortal war between them both. The wily Pope dissembles at all hands. The sequel concerns only him and Caesar.
Brother Filippo, what availeth it, when our state lost, the Faventines compound that I should hold both life and liberty with all revenues of my proper state? When as my life within the court of Rome is much more loathsome to my soul than death, and liberty more grief than servitude.
I rather choose within the river Tiber to drown myself, or from Terpian Halil my vexed body to precipitate, than to subject my body to the shame of such wild, brutish, and unkindly lust.
Astor, what? Astor, my delight, my joy, my star, my triumph, my sweet fantasy, my more than son, my love, my concubine. Let me behold those bright stars, my joy's treasure. Those glorious, well-tempered, tender cheeks, that spacious forehead like a lane of lilies, that seemly nose, love's chariot triumphant, breathing Panchaean odors to my senses, that gracious mouth, betwixt whose crimson pillow Venus and Cupid sleeping kissed together, that chin, the ball vowed to the queen of beauty, now budding, ready to bring forth love blossoms. Astor Manfredi, turn thee to my love. Come hither, Astor. We must talk above.
Trade, slave to sin, what shall I say, most holy father?
Let me forget. I am thy brother and thy dearest friend, and though in age I love, know that desire in riper years is pure and permanent. They're blessed whose lovers love when youth is past.
To call you friend were too familiar. To call you brother sorts not with our years. To call you father doth import some fear due to that age your holiness doth bear.
Tell me not of my age and holiness. Thy sight sufficeth me to make me young. Neither upbraid me with my sanctimony. Love is the purest essence from above. And to thy soul I would affix my love. Come hither then, and rest with me tonight. Give me fruition of those amorous pits where blinded Cupid close in ambush sits, who with his arrow, when thou laugh at Venus, shot through my smiling cheeks and did enchain us.
Is it possible that the devil can be so sweet a dissembler?
Yes, and play the pleasant part of a conceited amoret, where he can take the shape of a bright angel.
Now, my sweet friend, the joys of love doth mutter thy mind too bashful is. Speak, tongues, love's utter, thy coral gums cud love's pure quintessence, and thy fair self, boy, love's purest essence.
Oh, blessed heavens, let Satan tempt no longer. His force is powerful, yet thy strength much stronger. He that with guileful baits, gilded untruth, so seeks to blossom with my youth.
What? Wilt thou come, Manfredi, to my chamber, and bless me with thy precious breath of amber?
After Our Lady's Mass, I will return. Dear God, furies in his soul do burn. After the celebration of Mass, I come, my lord.
May Astor come to me, for my sick heart till Astor with his beautiful embrace to bless my body wounded with his dart can find no rest. Love hath it in hot chase.
Wilt thou perform it faithfully?
What? I? Will I live to eat, to drink, to sleep?
Wilt thou perform it valiantly?
Will I eat to drink? Will I drink to sleep? Will I sleep to live?
Wilt thou be secret and conceal my plot?
My name is Frescobaldi. As for my pedigree, my mother was of consanguinity with the Princess of Perugia, my father of the noble family of the Uri, Florentines both. I myself brought up a page under Rainier, King of Sicily. Then, in the wars of Ferdinand the King, this hip was shot through with a crocodile. And by these honors, if I prove a blab, then call me villain, varlet, coward, scab.
Well, gramercy, Frescobaldi, but be sure and ready when opportunity calls upon you.
May it please your most reverend grace, without offense to your lordship, to deliver me the party's name upon whom I should perform this tragedy? For I may par case catch him in a gilder myself before you are aware, and may muffle up his mastership with the garrotta, or stiletto, perchance the poniard, or pistol, such as I warrant you shall serve his turn.
Be it sufficient thou shalt know hereafter. My business and affairs are very great. Here, take this and remember me.
I encounter your munificence with my love, and your love with my service. My love and service with your money. Padrone mio molto onorato. More for your love than your money. And yet your grace well knows clothes must be brought, weapons must be bought, and taverns must be sought. And all brave exploits must be done, as they should be done, bravely.
That I keep this secret to myself, I would not use this knave for any gold. Yet, when I trust him, he shall not deceive me.
Now, skelder, ye scoundrels, skelder, you maggot mongers, you pompions, you woodworms, you maggot of pipicos, I am for you. Now, Frescobaldi, call thy wits together. Let me see now what o'clock it is. Very near 8 and almost breakfast time. At 11 this very night must I stand perdu for this bloody service. I know my place and hour. I must second my lord in any slaughter for his wages. And if any man will give me better hires when I have served the cardinal's turn, I will present my pistol upon his sacred person afterward, for charity's sake. Well, now, to the drinking school, then to the fence school, and lastly to the vaulting school, to my lady Sempronia.
This was an act of such strange consequence as yet was never heard. Cosa impossibile.
I was the first that found him in his blood, then warm from slaughter. Such a ruthful sight as yet I tremble to remember it.
It is impossible, after a search no stranger found within Vicelli's doors, but that some servant of his family should have sure notice how the murder was.
It was his own hand, sure.
I cannot think it. The gentleman was honest, full of sport, and well affected.
Pardon, my lord, the lady Lucretia told it. In great grief she twice before had rescued his life.
Go to, go to.
Besides, my noble lord, papers both writ and sealed with his hand were found about him testifying this.
Good Barbarossa, pray my sister Lucretia here to encounter me with her good company. Somewhat I would in private talk with her.
My lord, I will.
High God, be merciful, thou that dost know the secrets of all hearts, if Lucretia, as my father doth suspect, was privy to this murder, of my life I can learn all she knows. She maketh towards me. Sister, how fares it with you?
As with a dead corpse in a sepulchre, cold, lifeless, comfortless, oppressed with sorrow. Nor since my joy did leave me desolate, ever could I brook well this open air, but still lamenting and disconsolate, heaped up in my chamber, mourning for my lord.
What order took you for his funeral?
He that alive was shrined in my breast, now dead lives yet entombed in my thoughts. There's a model of it in my closet.
Perform it decently, with diligence.
Brother, methinks the air is cold and raw, and as you please, let us confer within.
Gladly, dear sister, with what haste you may. And I desire you, noble Barbarossa, to meet us at my chamber after supper. My brother Caesar hath appointed with me some business, and I crave your company.
Thanks, my good lord, but matters of much moment I have at the time with my lord Caraffa, and I must speak this night with my lord Caesar.
Tell him I will attend by 9 o'clock.
I will, my good lord.
Farewell, Barbarossa.
Joy to you both.
My trembling liver throbs, my cold heart's heavy, my mind disturbed, and I know not why. But all as he will. Heavens above me.
This is the Black Night. This The fatal hand. These are the bloody weapons which must be witness and actor of this tragedy. Now, Frescobaldi, play thy master's prize. Here is a rich purse crammed with red cruzados, which doth inspire me with a martial spirit. Now could I combat with the devil tonight. First, did I wash my liver, lungs, and heart in cretin wines and headstrong malvoisie, such as would make a coward fight with Mars. Then, lest I should with any weapons drawn be driven to danger of mine enemy, I practiced my martial feats of fence, as for example, if with arms unsheathed I were to kill this conduct ere I come. He makes a thrust, I with a swift passado make a quick avoidance, and with this staccato here will I take him, turning down this hand. Admit he forced me with his ambrocado, here I deceive him then with this passado, and come upon him in the speeding place.
What man-dragon or savage escapade art thou that fightest with thy father's soul? Or art thou ravished with bedlamy, fighting with figments and vain fantasies, chimeras or black spirits of the night?
Come not within 9 furlongs of this place. My name is Rubo Sangal, the grim ghost of Binabocamber, king of Calcutta, and here for this night I keep sentinel, for Musco Patrion, great king of flies, great grandsire of 10,000 hecatombs.
I conjure thee, thou fiend of Acheron, and by this fox which stinks of pagan blood, dost thou walk here for mischief or for good?
Brave man, whose spirit is approved well, as most approved panders truly tell. To thee saith Frescobaldi, case thy steel, lest thou the rigor of my fury feel.
And yet I love thee for thy martial grace. Thine in all service, shake hands and embrace.
A pox upon coward fists, foul knave, and yet I love thee, rogue. Ask rogue and have.
Come and embrace. 'Tis blithe when maltmen meet and drink till they have lost both head and feet. But Frescobaldi, my brave Boginero, and my Perpetuana pander tell me what humors cataplasmatic excited have thy Bacchic fantasies to draw that triumphant swirlidillo upon some spirit of the buttery.
This was no barmy spirit of the bottle. It was a bloody spirit of battle. And if I lie, call me thy Wimblecock.
A moldy jest. Well, I will answer thee. I conjure thee by Negra Lucia's name, why didst thou combat with thy father's soul?
I see thou kennest the secrets of all sorts, of sharp syringes and salacious sports. Noble Henrilico, question no further. My meditations are of blood and murther. I jested have too long. Prithee begone, Henrico Baglioni. By this sword, I am tomorrow to perform a duel, and practicing in this night's melancholy how to dispatch it with a brave staccato, here I did make a proof. Prithee, good night. Trouble me now no more. Early tomorrow I'll take thee timely, with thy points untrussed, to drink a flagon of Greek wine with thee.
Good night, my noble Rilla Bilbio. Thou shalt be welcome in the darkest midnight.
Now to my watchword. It is quite forgot. Oh, col nuvolo la Borgia, think upon it. This is mine hour appointed, this the place. Here will I stand close till the alarum call.
'Tis very dark. Good brother, go before. You know the streets best.
Oh, keep your way. You cannot lightly fall.
My heart begins to throb. My soul misdoubts. I fear some treachery. I can scarce go. A sudden qualm hath seized upon my spirits.
Brother, forward with alacrity. My life for yours. You'll be at ease anon.
'Tis a foul business. Let us retire and seek some other season for our sports.
I am ashamed thou shouldst be general, to lead those forces that fight for the church, and here show such faint-hearted cowardice.
Are you disposed to quarrel in the streets? Neither the time nor place serves instantly that to call you to some audit for these words.
Abortive coward, born before thy time, I will not brook thy foolish insolence. Col nuvolo la pioggia.
Dear God, revenge my wrongs, receive my soul.
Let him receive thy soul when he thinks good. I'll take an order for thy burial. Help Frescobaldi, let us heave him over, that he may fall unto the river Tiber. Come to the bridge with him.
Be what he will. The villain's ponderous. Hath he some gold about him? Shall I take it?
Take it, were it 1,000,000 ducats. Thou hast done bravely, Frescobaldi. Stretch thee out thy arms, far that he may not fall upon the arches.
I'll wash him, doubt you not, of a new fashion.
I think thou never hadst thy Christendom. Follow for company, pernicious villain! Now, Caesar, muster up thy wits together. Summon thy senses and advance thyself. Water and earth have interposed their bodies betwixt the world's bright eye and this black murder. Who can, or if they could, who would, dare suspect that Caesar Borgia killed his brother Candy? This is infallible, that many crimes lurk underneath these red robes of holiness. This fact concealed, this Ascanius Forza shall strangely, by some wily policies, be brought into suspect for Candy's death. Sister Lucretia, thou must follow next. My father's shame and mine endeth in thee. Now show thyself true, Caesar. Caesar shall either live Caesar-like or not at all.
Death and blood only lengthen out our scene. These be the visible and speaking shows that bring vice into detestation, unnatural murders, cursed poisonings, horrible exorcism and invocation. In them examine the reward of sin. What follows view with gentle patience.
Candy, my son is murdered. Candy, my son is murdered. I will raise all the great devils to show the murderer. Put on my robes, give me my pentacle. Sense well, Bernardo. Bring me some fire in an earthen vessel. I must labor now like a collier's horse. Precious, best approved and trusty servant, hence in all haste betake thee to thy beads, whilst these dark works of horror are in hand. Red sandal is my fumigation. Viana trova, sosteratus, aquiel, acasael, conjure confirmo super voxi nomine. I haste up and ascendor nomen he. Bye.
What would great Alexander have with us, that from our fiery region, millions of leagues beneath the sulphurous bottom of abyss, thou call'st me from strong business of high state? What's thy demand?
I charge thee, by the 4 recited names and by the dreadful title of Great Paha, by which all creatures are sure sealed up, by which the Prince of Darkness and all powers in earth and hell do tremble and fall down. Show me the shape of that condemned man which murdered my son, the Duke of Kandy.
Keep a firm station, stir not for thy life.
Hold, Periodos Santos, now no more. Caesar hath killed a brother and a father.
What wouldst thou more? Shall I descend?
Show me the person by whose impious hand Gismond Vicelli was done to death.
Keep a firm station, stir not for thy life.
Out, no more, my soul dissolves. Out, alas. Bernardo, I am wounded with grisly wounds and deep, incurable.
Comfort yourself in God's name, blessed Father, so long as no wounds of the body bleed.
The cureless wounds, I mean, are of my body, wounds both of my soul and body. But Bernardo, this is my comfort in calamity. Some shall pack after them for company. What's o'clock?
Very near 6 by St. Peter's bell.
Haste thee then. Pass thee to my apothecary, bid him provide those drugs I spoke for yesterday, and bear them in all haste to Domenico Gigio. Take yon those letters with you that are there. Bid them deliver them to Lucretia, in Lodovic Forza's name, her lustful paramour. Make haste, and see that he dispatch it quickly. Deliver him a purse from me as a token, crammed with 200 ducats, and let him be secret, as he loves his life. Haste, and be gone. Astor must follow. I must have his lands. Sons, nephews, daughters, concubines, all shall die. My conscience is turned mercy's enemy. He that would rise to riches and renown must not regard, though he pull millions down.
Where is his holiness? Where is my father? Oh, alas, your son is slain. Your hapless son, my noble brother, oh, alas, is murdered. In tender passion, let curious search and inquisition be made through Rome to find the murderers. I fear that traitorous Judas, Cardinal Ascanio Sforza with his accomplices. I will not hold fraternity with him, and here behold my meaning, blessed Father. Receive again these robes, which I have buckled. Here, take this hat, and in these arms, which I have buckled on, I do forswear all offices of church until I be revenged for his death.
A foul red vengeance overhangs his head, whose heart endureth, or whose devilish brains could execute, conceive, or meditate so foul a murder of some innocent. Caesar, dissemble not, for that were vain. Whence comest thou?
Directly from my chamber.
Where did thou hear this news?
Fishers which found his body brought the news.
Then he was drowned, Caesar, was he not?
It seems he was.
What, by some fisher?
How should I know that?
Sure, by some subtle fisher that laid nets for Candy's life and honor. But say truly, was it thy brother?
Are you not my father?
That I had never been any father. But speak again, man. Speak the truth, and fear not. Who slew thy brother Candy this last night? Who trained him forth? Who walked along with him?
Am I the keeper of my brother's person?
Execrable Cain, perfidious homicide, apparent villain, what canst thou design which I would know that thou canst hide from me?
A plague upon your devils! You deal with them that watch more narrowly to catch your soul than he which sought my brother Candy's death. You know that Satan is the lord of lies, a false accuser and dissembler. Tell your familiars they be lying devils.
Caesar, no more. Caesar, no more. Thou knowest.
What know I?
That I know. Dissemble not.
Suppose you know. Suppose in wrath and fury I killed my brother. Can we mend it now? He was not fashioned for these busy times. He rests in peace. Our peace rests in swords.
Caesar, thou dost unkindly vex my soul with rubbing up my secret miseries incurred by seeking to lift up thy head.
Pull me not down, good father, with your conscience. Your conscience, father, of my conscience is. My conscience is as like your conscience as it were pointed with the self-same stamp. I know my sins are burdenous, and bear them. Your sins more heinous, yet your robes conceal them.
Out, wicked and nefarious homicide.
Upbraid me not! For if that lamp burns dim, which should give light to men in darkest night, how can they choose, but must in shadows err, that follow the blind glimmering thereof? He was an honest man, and fit for heaven. Whilst he lived here, he breathed in misery, and would have been enlarged. I set him free. Now, if I may compare your state with his, or your condition with my quality, have you not sold yourself unto the devil to be promoted to the papacy? Have you not, since your inauguration, poisoned and done to death 6 cardinals in devilish avarice to get their goods? Have you not, which is most abominable, committed incest with your only daughter, and made me sin with her for company, that both might reign in hell for company? Have you not kept the pearl of Italy, Astor Manfredi, that young virtuous prince, in beastly lust and filthy sodomy? Have you not now given order for the death of my dear sister, whom your passions caused to kill her latter husband, Divicelli? And robbed the noble earl of his new spouse, only to cloak your vile impiety?
Caesar, the devil hath been thy schoolmaster.
I pass your secret counsel with the devil, your avarice, ambition, perfidy, your bloody plots, inhuman cruelty. Why then ye upbraid me with Candy's death?
The triple joy succeeds a single grief. I have engaged all to make Caesar great. Caesar, it suiteth with thy grace and glory to cloak my vices. I will pardon thine. Let one of us excuse the other's crimes, and for this bloody fact so lately done, as thou did cunningly begin, proceed to lay the guilt on, or imputation on them whose death may do thee benefit.
Now stands Romagna subject to my sword. Imola, Forli, Camarine, and Urbine shall have the first charge. If I there succeed, more forward farther with a better speed.
Kind Lodowick, hadst thou presented me with Persian cloths, or gold, or tinselry, with rich Arabian odors, precious stones, or what brave women hold in highest price, could not have been so gracious as this tincture, which I hold more value than my richest jewels. Amatacilla, bring me some mixtures and my dressing boxes. This night I purpose privately to sup with my Lord Cardinal of Capua. Bring me some blanching water in this bowl. Here I perceive a little rivaling above my forehead, but I wimple it either with jewels or a lock of hair, more bright and not of such a Spanish dye, and yet the Duke of Bourbon on his knees did beg one lock to make a bracelet, for which few hairs he garnished my head with jewels worth 6,000 crowns at least. My beaming eyes, yet full of majesty, dart love, and give bright luster to the glass as when the sunbeams touch a diamond. The rosy garden of these amorous cheeks, my nose the gracious forte of conquering love. Gonzaga calleth it the silver perch for Venus turtles' mutual pleasure search. Sweet mouth, the ruby port to paradise, of my world's pleasure from whence issue forth many false brags, bold sallies, sweet supplies. Give me some blanching water in this bowl. Wash my face, Monticello, with this cloth. So, 'tis well. Now will I try these colors. I must delay this color. It is carnation, right?
Oh, the true tincture of a damask rose.
What, is it excellent?
Most full of life, and madam, that's a precious lineament as ever I beheld to smooth the brows.
I feel foul stink in my nostrils. My cheeks both burn and sting. Give me my glass. Out! Out, for shame! I see the blood itself dispersed and inflamed. Give me some water. My brain's intoxicate. My face is scalded hence with the glass. Cool my face. Rank poison is ministered to bring me to my death. I feel the venom burning in my veins.
Ah me, dear lady, what strange leprosy. The more you wash, the more spreads on your face.
Send to my father. Call physicians in. Oh, Candy, where art thou, my comforter? Dead and entombed, Lucretia must follow thee. I burn. I burn. Oh, where is my dear lord? My brains are seared up with some fatal fire.
Dear lady, cheer yourself. Be not dismayed. His holiness in haste hath sent relief. His own physician to recomfort you.
A foul, unsavory, loathsome stink chokes up my vital senses. And a boiling heat sops up the lively spirit in my lungs.
This poison spreads and is incurable. Madam, receive one precious antidote.
What have I caught you, Sforza, who painted my fair face with these foul spots? You see them in my soul deformed lots. Deliver me from that murdered man, he comes to stab my soul. I wounded him. Oh, Gismund, hide these bleeding wounds. My soul lays drops of sorrow for thy sake. Look not so wrathful. I am penitent. Love and remorse did harbor in thine heart. What? Dost thou beckon to me? I will come and follow thee through these millions of woes.
Sweet lady, will you take a little rest? It will refresh your spirits instantly.
No rest until I see my lord again.
Dear lady, do you love your life? Take rest.
Oh, Monticello, whom I trained up in cunning sleights and snares of filthiness, forgive me for that sin. Live and repent.
Oh, God forgive me, for my sins are great, and if his goodness lend my life some space, I will with penance call on him for grace, and spend the remnant of my life in prayer.
I can no more. Death summoneth my soul. Open thy bosom, Father Abraham. Merciful Father, let thy mercy pass. Extend thy mercy where no mercy was. Merciful Father, for thy dear Son's dear merit. Pardon my sinful soul. Receive my spirit.
Now is her soul at rest. 'Tis very strange as well the cause as manner of her death. I have never met with such an accident. Bear in her body. I will in all haste bring woeful news unto St. Peter's palace. His holiness will grievously lament.
Fellows in arms, after our victories, now must we bend our forces against Forli, where that proud Amazonian Katherine dareth defiance in the face of war.
Speak that at once, renowned general. Shall we go soldier-like to work at first? Shall we salute her with our cannon?
What? No, Barbarossa, not without a parley. For God, I love her and admire her valor. Until we find her words prove empty squibs, we give her all the noble rights of war. Summon a parley. What? Have we, Pallas, come upon these walls to bring confusion of our companies?
I tell thee, Caesar, son of Alexander, a book befits thee better than a blade. Pace and scorn thou wilt repay the like, if this task fits me more than a pike. No, Caesar, had I now so many lives as here are stones or hairs upon your beards, I would forego them all before this honor, which my dear Lord Riario did leave me, the pledge of my dear love, his children's patrimony.
Be not so bitter, Kate. A friend entreats you. But if entreaties will not, look upon me. Here standeth Caesar, the sharp scourge of Forli, and were your fort fenced with as many men as it is girt with stones, Caesar would have it. Subdue them and make pillage of their goods, and in resistance seal it with their bloods.
What? Are your weapons sheathed in your throats? Is every word a sword? Then shake hands, Caesar. Venture no further, and we will be friends. But if your words have accents and keen swords, and ended in blood, then Caesar, look on me. I, defiance, turn swords in your throats. You shall not thrust that imputation upon our sex, for I will fight it out so long as I can stand on these walls.
You would repent it if you knew the worst. Consider, Kate, be well advised first. Prognosticates, bring forth her ransom hither. If nature be not quite extinguished, these pledges shall enfranchise you from war. I brought them in for this purpose, that in them you with your friends might live in liberty.
Never but with advantages, dear lord, master of misery. But thinkst thou, Caesar, that I will yield mine honor for their safety? Your boys, courage yourselves, I will defend your honor. I tell thee, Caesar, these my boys are taught to bear with patience fates inevitable. These carry scores of spirits and their fathers. I dare gauge life and ask them, they will choose to lack their lives before they honor lose.
Caesar in this hath offered like himself. He proffereth to preserve your town untouched, your goods, your wives, your lives, your liberties. But mark what fruits thy bitterness brings forth, to make thine heart infamous forever. Before thy face these boys shall lose their lives, if thou surrender not without more parley.
Traitor to God and man, hast thou been Caesar insisting on high terms of worth and honor? Thou wouldst consider that their blood is noble. Thou wouldst consider that they be but children. Thou wouldst consider that thou art a warrior, and that such noble blood spilt with dishonor, and trained in with insidious treachery by God, nor man in heaven, nor earth below, can be forgotten or abolished.
Pray, General, you parley with a woman whose heart is obstinate, whose hands are feeble, seemeth in vain and over tedious.
Speak it a word, cannon is my next parley. You will not yield your state to save their lives.
I will not, Caesar.
Cut off both their heads.
Let us entreat our mother, noble general, for to deliver up the state of Forli, and will you save our lives then?
Good captain, do not kill us.
If she will yield the state, your lives are safe.
Good mother, for my father's sake that's dead, and for mine uncle's sake, part of your vows, and for our own sakes, yield yourselves and save us.
Good sweet mother, save us.
Poor boys. In hearts unlike Riario's race that scores his warlike lineage by the mother, know what it is. Die with liberty and live with ignominious servitude. Sooner I will set all the town on fire, and with my soldiers sacrifice myself, rather than render up your heritage.
Oh, bravely spoken, warlike Amazon.
Mother, we scorn death in respect of honor. Let him perform his worst. We fear him not. Courage, sweet brother. Think upon my father. I will die first. Be not afraid of death.
Why then are you resolved to die?
I. To die. Caesar.
Bring hither both their heads.
God bless and rest with you, my dear sons. If I lose your states, my life shall follow. Nothing but violence shall force it from us. Ere long this quarrel twixt us will stand even. Farewell, dear boys, till we meet in heaven.
Ah, dear mother, sweet mother, save our lives!
Away, away with him! I will make sack and pillage of your state. Man, woman, orphan, all put to the sword. This hath your obstinance wrought in us. Carry them hence. Bring hither both their heads.
Bloody nor force, what would this tyrant do?
A charge! A charge!
Oh, for God's sake, a charge! Let us to fight!
A spirit full of vengeance, wrath, and spite. Assault! Assault! Charge, noble hearts, a charge! Courageous Kate, you that would throw defiance into the face and throat of fate and Caesar. Such are the fruits of pride and willfulness. Have I not performed my word? Are you surprised? Is not your life and living in my power?
Go forward with thy tyranny. Strike, Caesar! Take away the mother with her sons. It's done. Count for his victory. Woman with 2 children vanquished, a prize befitting the renowned Caesar.
Come hither, Katherine. Wonder of thy sex, the grace of all Italian womanhood. Caesar shall never prove dishonorable. Behold thy children living in my tent.
Oh, mother, mother, are you come? We be not dead.
Good mother, thank the captain, we live yet. They gave us spices, wines, and bade us welcome. I pray you thank them.
Oh, but your lands and honor are both lost. But not an honorable death been better than thus to lose your states and livelihoods, heroic soldier whose deceit is honor. Now that has its unexpected saved lives of my 2 children, I submit them here, thy captives, for thy ransom, what is fit.
I freely pardon your 2 boys their ransom. Lady, behold thy treasure in my tent. Had I not won this town, this hadst thou lost. See, soldiers, that her jewels be reserved for her own service. Now the quarrel ends.
Noble Caesar will entreat our people. They be men valiant, civil, obedient. If you their magistrates, entreat them well.
Take you the charge of Forli, Barbarossa. Entreat the people well. Do not restrain them. We freely pardon all of them their ransoms, so much as is in us. We pardon all. Lady, yourself with your 2 little babes, I will take order shall be sent to Rome. Be not dismayed, you shall be well entreated. You shall want nothing fitting your estates. March with us on our way to Capua.
Bring in that opium and bowl of wine. Here I must act a tragic comedy.
'Tis a drowsy medicine. Do not taste it, my lord.
Thou hast been taster to me many times. Begin, Bernardo.
My lord, I slept too much the last night, and I dare not.
It holds good color. Hold here, Bernardo. Give good attendance. Bring them to their rest, then give me notice at my study door.
One set was passed before I parted from them, and by this time they be well heated.
So be diligent and serviceable in this, even as thou lovest thy master.
Fear me not. Were it not that my conscience hath been fired with flames of purgatory by this pope, I never could endure such villainy. The best is, he doth pardon all my sins.
That was strangely lost. I durst have waged 100 ducats after the first chase.
You cannot take pains nor observe a ball with that dexterity which appertaineth.
Holla within there! I take no pains, my waistcoat can witness for I sweat.
Bernardo, bring me some wine, for I am very thirsty.
I listened for that string, and he hath touched it.
Fill me some wine, Bernardo.
Good, my lord, cool yourself a little.
Give me wine. Let it be thy labor, good Bernardo. Call for music. Brother, in this cup I commend the lungs of all true provinces, our trusty friends, hoping ere long to live again with them.
I thank you, brother. If our father Pope perform his promise, we shall soon return.
This wine was good. The taste of the cask hath a musty relish. Allah, it's in there.
My lord?
I'm somewhat heavy.
I know the cause.
And what, Bernardo?
Marry, with much motion of your bodies, my lords, you must not be so vehement in play. My lords are both asleep. Alas, sweet boys, is it not pity that these noble branches, so sweetly knit in one, should never wake? I that am hard of heart sigh for their sake. My lord!
What news, man?
Both fast asleep.
And both upon one bed?
'Tis done.
And chamber voided?
All is performed, my lord.
My blessing rest upon thee, my Bernardo. Depart now with those letters I delivered to be conveyed to Florence. Leave me here. Sleep both, secure upon your fatal bed. Now that the god of silence, Morpheus, hath with his signet of black horn sealed up your languid eyelids, loaden with pale death, sleep until you draw your latest breath. Poor harmless boys, strangers to sin and evil. Oh, were my soul as innocent as yours. This office is of highest consequence in friendship, for I consider it a cup of everlasting happiness, where such sweet music unconceivable shall entertain your senses in sweet comfort, as the delight thereof shall never die. Astor? What, Astor, speak? Wake, Philippa? Both fast asleep. Now, Roderick, betake thee to thy task. What? Peace. Astor begins to speak. I will attend.
Fair, gracious angel of eternal light, reaches out that hand of happiness, hailing my spirit to that triumphant throne of endless comfort. I adore thy grace.
O golden light of never-setting sun, hark, brother Astor, hark. My soul is wrapped into the joys of heaven with harmony.
Do they not sleep? Are they not yet asleep? Be not their senses yet locked up in sleep? Astor, awake, awake! Awake, Filippo! And their genius hath foretold them of their end, and joyfully they do shake hands with death. Come out here now, you Cleopatra's birds. Partake your repast upon these princely paps. Ooh. I see their colors change, and death sits heavy on their fair foreheads with his leaden mace. My birds are glutted with this sacrifice. How now, proud worms? How taste yon princes? All clear and safe. Well now, fair boys, good night. Bernardo, the deed is done. Use thy discretion as I did direct.
'Tis done indeed. Alas, they both be dead. Now must I follow my directions. Hollow within there!
What news, Bernardo?
Alas, my lord, ill news, but that his holiness is fast asleep, and this day stirred not from his bedchamber, I would have brought him to this woeful sight. Prince Astor with Filippo were at tennis, and being overheated at their game, drinking so suddenly upon that heat, with much sweet wine did surfeit instantly, and here, alas, lie dead upon this bed.
Alas, it is a ruthful spectacle. Two princely boys of noble disposition, endued with honorable gifts of virtue.
Gracious favor, wise and liberal. His holiness will much bemoan their fate.
My lord, I do not like of this.
Peace, man, no more do I, but bear with patience.
It is suspicious, but we may not talk. Come, let us in. Oh, God.
Oh, God, what times are these?
After the bloody Duke Valentois had conquered Forli with the warlike by wily force he took in Capua, then through insidious sleights and treacheries he did surprise the state of Camarine, where his captive, Julio de Verana, with his 2 sons, all which he strangled with a semblative tyranny, proud Caesar, on terms of trust, meets with the Duke Gravinia, whom he betrayed at Singalia. Bereaving them both of their states and lives, he conquereth Urban with violence, performeth strange and hideous outrages. By this time, with his forces back to Rome, Caesar is marching. What betided there ends in the subject of this tragedy.
My good lord Cardinal and Bentivoli, much thanks and dear acceptance of your loves. I lovingly return them for your great pains.
His holiness gave us in serious charge to give you greeting, and withal prepares a sumptuous feast for that solemnity, to which he doth invite the cardinals with other lords, your favorers in Rome.
Humbly commend my duty to my father. Tell him this night that I propose to be with him. And tell him I live in health, and touching these, I pray you certify his holiness. I will have special care. And so, my lords, for a small season, I will take my leave.
We do congratulate your safe return.
Come hither, Bentivoli. Knowest thou Bendino Rozzi, the apothecary?
What I, my gracious lord? Know I myself?
Well, how should I know that, sir?
May it please your highness, he serves his holiness.
He did indeed sometime, and for his villainies is worthily cast off. But tell me, Cyril, thou dost remember how for breach of arms, when thou didst stab a certain Lance Persado, I pardoned thee thy life?
True, my good lord, I very well remember, but for that honor in a soldier's word, I'll spend my life to do your highness service.
Hast thou thy peace then ready?
Oh, my good lord, lies fix, sound as a bell.
Sometime this afternoon within the park next to the Vatican, Rozzi will be. And as I know the stout and resolute, bestow a bullet on him as he passeth. Few words. If any man attach thee for it, by my protection thou shalt be enlarged.
And if I do not, my good lord, damn me for it. I have an old grudge at him. I'll pay him his old fippence for it now.
Take this to buy thee clothes, my trusty servant. Nay, 'tis gold. Be not afeard of it.
Feared, my lord. Were it a tempest and a shower of gold, I would endure it and adore you for it.
Then in Baglione, fit thee to thy furniture. Watch in a corner close behind some tree, and when the deed is done, repair to me.
No more, but by this cross. Why now this noble Caesar's like himself hath fitted me with service. If the world had sought out somewhat to content a man, nothing could better please old Baglione to kill a coward, rascal cur. I like this trading better than the wars, for there I serve 2 ducats a month, and not a duck egg richer than when I march, and in continual hazard of my life. Now shall I march in purse with many ducats for 1 hour's service, but to kill 1 man, free from all danger of mine enemy. I will about it, and take up my stand.
Thus doth one hideous act succeed another, until the mouth of mischief be made up. Now must I train my fellow to his death, a deed of ruth, and I did swear the same, not only for the secrecy thereof, but to conceal a matter of more weight, of greater moment and high cruelty. When any deed of murder must be done to serve his holiness, call for Bernardo. He must be principal or accessory to serve all purposes for gold or pardon. The Pope gives both, and I can take them both. Gold can make hard the softest conscience, and mine is hardened by the practice of it. Ahala, Signor Bandino.
Who goes without there? What, my good fellow Bernardo?
My lord hath sent me for the things he spake of.
Here they be. Very strong and sufficiently compounded according to directions from his holiness, and special warrant under his privy signet.
Well, have you done your part? Set down your bottles and read this letter from the Duke Valentinois.
Well said, brave King of Ginger, by mine honor. Before I do this service, lie there, peace, for I must have a saying to those bottles. True, Stengo, by mine honor. Oh, that my old friend and Boccadillo Frescobaldi were here alive to taste of this other bottle. Well, I will venture upon it, that I may drink one's health to Frescobaldi. You be provided for his holiness's own mouth, I will be bold to the Pope's taster by his leave.
Nay, let him drink and burst, for believe me, I was informed before of such a fellow, for whom I was commanded to lay bait. Oh, notable villain, he sealeth death.
This is a noble nipster in faith, so.
He hath his full wages. Doubt not, Bernardo, to serve him till he die. Seem not to respect him in any case. Do, I pray you.
Nay, but do not you respect him, lest he doubt you suspect him.
Oh, doubt you not. Doubt you not. I will never look. Let us turn our talk. Tell his holiness 'tis well compounded and composed of all those drugs mentioned in your letter. Give the Duke right humble thanks for his token, and with all reverence kiss his excellent hand.
And by this signet you are to deliver me the bottles.
Have a care of them, and deliver them.
Farewell, fellow Rozzi.
Adieu, Bernardo.
Now do not I pity this Spanish villain, because he consented to the poisoning of this soldier. But for that I am innocent.
What? Is the wild goose fallen? Have at you, sir. Now, Signor Grantino, will I rummage in the worm-eaten keel of your rotten hulk? Oh, cold. Passion of me, my guts. Out upon thee, thou hast poisoned me with thy stinking breath, with thy villainous powders. Out, alas, alas! What fiery commotions I feel in my body, griping, fretting, and fuming, playing on your bottle ale with a vengeance. I am peppered, there is no remedy in all these extreme agonies. Farewell, Madam Symprosia, for in conscience I am guilty of mine own death. The pangs of hell and purgatory. Come, you lousy rascal. I will bury thee with carrion in the next ditch.
My lords, give answer in sincerity. Hath not my Caesar fought well for the church, that being vicar of the church's wars, hath in revolution of 1 year done more than all the generals have done in honor of our church for 40 years?
Your Holiness, with all your cardinals, your barons, and indeed all Christendom, are bound to give God thanks for such a prince, and him great honor for his fortitude.
Your Excellence did in a blessed hour surrender up your holy robes and hat, he taking you to Burgundy in arms, by which you might enlarge our liberties.
In faith, my lord, and so we have all of us good cause to rejoice. Would I had been with your Excellence at Capua, I would have had one bout with them, old as I am.
You might, my lord, have had your choice of ladies, beautiful prisoners to be sent to Rome.
Aye, marry, my lord. Would to God I were as young as when I was a scholar in Padua. Will you eat any salad, my lord? Please, there are excellent herbs if you love them.
They be, my lord, too cold for my stomach. Will please you, my lord, to drink a cup of old Greek wine with it. Bring me some wine here.
Bring me some wine here. I will drink a joy to Caesar and this noble company.
Some wine for his holiness' own mouth, Bernardo.
Caesar, yourself are master of this feast. I drink a good success and victory to Caesar, and great happiness to all.
Happy success and fortune to you all.
Hold, Caesar, stay, for we are poisoned.
My lord, it is all off.
Then thou art quite undone.
Some villainous conspiracy lies hid within this company, and this pernicious villain hath practiced with them. Go thy soul to hell! I feel the raging of it.
Away, my Lord Medina, come, away. This train was laid of purpose for our lives.
Our refuge and defense is from above. Let Satan work. He never shall prevail.
How doth my gracious lord?
For very sake, the flames of Mongebeld consume my liver. Bring me to some repose.
Comfort yourself, my lord.
Caesar, take rest. Send for physicians. All my fear remains that Caesar shall miscarry.
Withdraw we both unto my chamber. I am very sick.
You talk of penance and of penitence, compunction with contrition and remission for all my sins. I pray you, think of yours. You vex yourself too much. I cannot say thank you. Have patience, sir. Oh, 'tis a goodly exorcism. Give leave. Give leave. Come hither when I call. Nay, leave me, my good lord. Fain I would meditate. Leave me, I pray you.
I leave my prayers with your holiness. Call upon God. Think of his endless bounty.
With his repentance, have I not forgotten? Why, repentance is spiritual martyrdom which mortifieth sins and heals the soul, having been wounded with the Spirit's sword. This sword, God's book, that book by me profaned, and by which book of God my soul was damned, I damned undoubtedly. Oh, repentance is in vain, mercy too late. Out at last, my pains, my guts, my liver, and yet I fear it not. Though in security, once more I will with powerful exorcisms invoke those angels of eternal darkness to show me now the manner of my death.
What? Dost thou start, foul child of reprobation? Vain are thy crosses, vain all exorcisms. Those be no fruits of faith, but mere hypocrisy. Rome, which once was thy gorgeous concubine, hath now forsaken thee. Now doth she find thy falsehood which did her adulterate. What? Dost thou tremble, slave of sin and hell?
I exorcise thee, foul malignant spirit, in the names of
what? Foul mouth, polluted soul, corrupted flesh, God hath forsaken thee. Thy date expired is, thy power determined.
O proud Lucifer, traitor to great Jehovah, father of lies, my time is not expired. I will not do that violence to God, taking that which is his from him to be bestowed on his great enemy.
Thou that hast thrown those graces in his face, how canst thou think upon salvation? Think that thou'rt damned? I will declare it plainly.
7 years are yet to come, I look for them.
Examine thy soul with this counterpart.
Behold, is it not for 18 years and 8 days?
Thou fool, examine in arithmetic. Numbers without distinction placed thus. Annos with the figure 2 signifying 11 years, and the figure 7 applied to die importing 7 days.
How's that? And for what stands this figure then?
Why, for 18. This figure stands for octavo, referred unto die last before, signifying the 8th day after, so that annos undecim without distinction, signifying 11 years, and this figure 7 added to days, and that octavo post importing the 8th day following, more rare, thou shalt die.
Thou canst not mock me with thy sophistry. My soul is more divine and cannot perish.
And what of that? Thou therein hast no part. I do confess thy soul was first ordained to good, but by free will to sin thou, knave, hast sold that soul from happiness to hell. The scope of man's creation was to glorify the most all-potent maker of all things. But he that willfully betrays this soul dishonors God, and doth deprive himself of all salvation and beatitude.
Rest with this answer, that my soul is God's, whose habitacle is prepared in heaven. First it doth know God, being figured according to that image of himself, and then the world, whose lively shape it bears, and to conclude, the soul of man knows all.
These things should have been thought upon before. The summum bonum which lives in the soul is an eternal pleasure to behold, and have fruition of the mighty power which thou didst never see nor canst enjoy.
Mercy, mercy, mercy. Arise, arise, arise. Up, up, up. Fie, no. Stir stubborn, stony, stiff, indurate heart. No, not yet up. Why? What? Wilt thou not fare, traitor to my soul? Not yet. Arise, arise, advance. Hard-clogged sin, oppressed with damnation, up, advance. Yet, wilt thou not stir a stiff breast? What, am I damned? Yet a little, oh, yet, not yet, alas. High God through heavens and earth, if thou bear love unto the soul of sinful man, show mercy. Mercy, good Lord, oh mercy, mercy, mercy.
He charms in David's words with the Judas spirit.
It will not. No, it will not yet. Alas, no. Is that my sentence to damnation? I am undone.
He shall despair. Vassal of sin and hell, provide thyself in black despair to dwell.
I tell thee, I cannot be resolved to dwell in darkness. Break stained soul, dissolve and poison all this hemisphere with sin. And if I may not reach that happiness which since for my son's sake I thus must self-involve, tell me, shall Caesar die this death with me?
Caesar? His youth and strength of blood drives out this fatal poison, and shall live a while.
Oh, show me then the manner of his death.
Attend it. Time grows short. All fear is past.
Ghastly shadow. Which came first?
Thou for the poisoning of thy daughter poisoned. He for the murdering of his brother murdered.
Thus God is only just.
The devil can't deny it.
Man only false. Learn, miserable, wretched, mortal men, by this example of a sinful soul, what are the fruits of pride and avarice, of cruel empire and impiety, of profanation and apostasy, of brutish lust, falsehood and perfidy, of deep dissembling and hypocrisy. Learn, wicked worldlings, learn. Learn by me to save your souls, though I condemned be. Horror and horror, fear ensueth fear, torment with torments is encompassed. Away, proud Lucifer, away!
Away! Away!
Hola, hola, come. What? When? Where? When? Why? Death, strike, dead, alive. Oh, alas, always burning, always freezing, always living, tormented, never ending, never ending. Out, why, whither, thither.
Thither.
What? Is he dead?
Dead, and in such a fashion as much affrights my spirits to remember outcries of horror and extremity.
Cause all your bells to ring, my lords of Rome. Rome is redeemed from a wicked pope.
Even as his spirit was inflate with pride, behold his body puffed up with poison. His corpse shall be conveyed to St. Peter's, open for all beholders, that they may see the reward of sin, amend and pray.
By me, these persons which are seen presented, kiss all your hands and wish you well contented. I want to thank you all so much for joining us this evening, and the Castle, some of us might hang out for a few minutes if you want to say hello to anybody. Otherwise, thank you all so very much for joining us, and have a lovely evening. I hope you enjoyed meeting a new play.